Look at you on the way out. My first visit. Bro, legend, bro. Goddamn, I gave you this stuff.
Yeah, man. He's right under Joey now, Mom.
And I film and stuff like that. We've been friends for like 15 years and shit like that. Where you from? Massachusetts.
I was fucking shaving my head, smoking weed in the bathroom, was like super steamed up. I was so deep into this podcast, and I was looking at my phone, and like J. Cole's there, I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Bro, pleasure, man.
Yo, that's crazy. How you doing?
Yeah. What do you mean you're deep in the podcast? Like you're editing the podcast?
Oh, I'll show you actually. It's this guy, Sam Harrison. He's the fucking most brutal critic of Trump ever. Like, he's like the best dude I know of at explaining why Trump was the fucking worst. It's just like so over-discussed that it's like hard to have an interesting perspective on it, you know?
Without saying some basic shit.
Yeah, because how the fuck do you like say the same thing that everybody knows without fucking sounding cliche, you know?
How'd you get on it?
Shit, he's just like one of the most influential, like, I got into him because he, back in the day, used to write books about religion and shit. And then like he's kind of taken on more, he talks about like meditation from the perspective of like a non-religious person, you know? And I got super into him from that too, and then he's just kind of gone deeper and deeper into politics, and he's a shit.
When you say non-religious, like meaning like as an atheist, or I don't fuck with organized religion?
Well, yeah, he's like a super hardcore atheist himself, but I mean, he just kind of talks about how a lot of like how the meaning of people in like Western civilization has been sort of lost with the loss of religion. People become more secular, but then they end up like kind of left with like a void of like, or especially like with every like culture has had rituals in terms of like how to get deeper into thought, you know? And that's just like an overarching theme. And like just hearing him talk about how like there is a way for people who don't believe in a literal God to fucking embrace that and like get something out of it too. It's like very eye-opening to me.
And you identify with that? Like
yeah, I'm an atheist, but in the sense, but not in like, I don't know, there's a lot of like assumptions that come about atheism, you know?
I got questions actually. I've been thinking about this. Yeah. So my thing is like, as an atheist, does your non-belief in God come from a turn off that religion, like religion turns you off? Or did it come from like years of thinking like that doesn't make sense to me, like that there's any power higher than?
To me, to be honest, I found out that I didn't believe in God when I was like 12, and it was just, to me, it's like a very like literal thing in the sense that I don't believe that there's any way for us to know about what happens after you die,
right,
or how we got here and stuff like that. And I think
there's no way to prove that.
Right, and the only like logical way to find out about that would be through science. And that's not even to say anything of the way that like religion actually functions and works in practice, in which it's like constantly used to
control,
hold on to, you know, ancient beliefs that are you know, dangerous or harmful or whatever. And I mean that goes for every religion.
Do you think, last question, do you think that there's even a possibility that a God exists? Or like, and when I say God, obviously clearly there's mad associations that come with that and like an idea of that, but remove that idea, and do you believe in any type of spirituality? Like, do you think that that's possible?
I watch the vlog and shit, you know, road gang.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
How you feeling, Adam? And he the gatekeeper for now, you know, all them interviews, bro. A man X and you ain't X ain't let you manage him, bro.
Oh man.
Because I definitely went through a point in my life where it was like, 7th grade fucked me up. 7th grade science class. Because we started talking about fucking dinosaurs and evolution. And all of that shit sounded logical to me. You know what I mean? And like fascinated me. It was at one point like 2nd, 3rd grade, I wanted to be a fucking archaeologist or something. That shit was mad cool. But then I hit 7th. But then it's also, we go to church. Then it's also, you hear all this shit about Adam and Eve and boom, boom, boom. So 7th grade is like, well, if I can't believe in both of these. I hit a point in my 12-year-old mind.
You did that when you were young, because I never felt like my version of Christianity that my parents handed me was like in conflict with like science class. But how old are you?
32.
Oh, you're about the same age as me. Yeah, I never remember thinking that, but like the version of Christianity I was brought up with was also very much like, you know, because religion is what they tell you it is, and like for my parents it was like, treat everybody good. Racism is bad, homophobia is bad, anti-woman stuff is bad. That's like what I grew up thinking religion was.
They hit a point where I had to like question it for the first time, where it was like I wasn't sure, but then I felt bad about that. I went and got baptized because I was like, I felt guilty for even having a thought that like, well, if what y'all are saying is this and what y'all, like for even having a negative thought about it. Like I went and got baptized, started reading the Bible, I was scared as fuck. And then it hit a point in my life where it's like, I just fell off and like, I'll let the answer come. And as I got older, I feel like I had a personal understanding of like what God is to me. Strong belief too of like, it has nothing to do with what y'all are talking about, more like a personal understanding. And of course, I could never even fathom it, but as close as I could get to understand it, I can understand it. But then that always had me thinking, I would listen to like, I used to fuck with Bill Maher. I started like really watch his show, and then he put out this, it was like a religious movie, I don't know if you've seen it when it came out. That shit turned me off, because like I didn't mind that you were atheist, but it's like he was, somewhere along the line, I feel like his trash in the religion.
He started bashing religion.
Which I didn't, it's cool, like there's some funny shit. You know, there's a lot of things to make jokes about with religion, but I couldn't understand. I was like, man, you're so turned off by religion, you're missing the God aspect, the spirit. It's making you totally oblivious to the fact that like, yo, there may be a spiritual realm, but I've never had a chance to really like dive in with an atheist and ask the questions of like, yo, do you think that that's a possibility? And if not, why?
Especially as my voice has gotten louder in the hip hop shit, that's just, it was always something I was interested in, like but then like as time goes by, I feel so much more attracted to the idea of like, this is not like a conversation I'm trying to be having all the time publicly, because I don't want to look like I'm putting anybody down. Sure, yeah. And I also always feel like simplistic messages are good. So it's like when I talk about politics to my audience and I know that they're not the most affluent people in politics or whatever, it's like I want to make sure I like hit the big targets and not get into the minutia of talking about little tiny things and everything. You know, I like talking about religion for sure, but I just, as soon as I realized like, oh, the impression that people have of you is starting to become that you're the dude who's looking out for young rappers and helping put them on, I was like, oh damn, like that's like a very important role, and I don't want to like clutter how I'm viewed publicly by like going into depth about certain things. You know, I'm sure that there's been things that you've thought about in your career like that, because no matter what you put out as art, the reality always has to be way more complicated.
Yeah,
you know,
That's real.
that's real.
But for me with religion, I think religion is just the way, like man's earliest attempt to explain why we're here. And we're talking about something that occurred thousands of years ago. Like in order to be a Christian, in my opinion, you have to believe that the Bible is the best book that's ever been written about how to live your life, and that there is no improvement that you could really make to it. I don't really believe that.
The basic question is I'm just saying, fuck, how was the first, even if we don't know the science, we can't break down the Big Bang Theory to a science as a scientist can, but what, even let's say in this basic theory, the Big Bang Theory is that from a particle or from something, there was an explosion. Why was there that first thing? You know what I mean? Or like, where does that come from? And that was ultimately the thing that could never get me to say like, that was the reason why I could never not believe in something, because that question does not have an answer. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, at the end of the day, even if this shit came from a one fucking particle that exploded or whatever, who made the particle? Why is there a particle? There has to be nothing before there's something. I found out about it last year, when basically, because I was so disconnected for so long to what was going on. Just just stopped even being a fan. You know what I mean? Or like, you do this shit for so long, bro. I've been rapping since I was 12, making beats since I was 15. Took a lot to get to this point, then to that point, boom, boom, and just got like a little jaded. So last year, I decided like, yo, I gotta stop that shit. Like, I have to allow myself to be a fan of whatever the fuck enters my life. So like last year, and the kid got punched on stage. Kid X got punched on stage. And it was like clearly big enough to like make it into my realm. We was on tour or something, niggas like, yo, you just see this kid get knocked the fuck out? We watching the video like, oh shit. Getting the backstory, boom, boom. I don't know who none of these kids are at the time. Then I'm like, but damn, like what does bro do? Like, so that leads me to like hear some of his shit. I'm like, damn, this nigga's actually talented, boom, boom. And it leads me to an interview. And then that's how I got on like, your shit, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh damn, it's something happening over here.
It's crazy that you found out about my shit like the same way that all these young ass kids would come up to me on the street too. They're all like, no, my first interview was the X interview.
Yeah,
it's like,
I guess it was a big deal.
It was such a weird moment, because that was like I never had like conversations with A&Rs and label people before then too, and then all of a sudden it became like they couldn't get to him, so they were trying to get to me. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy that kid was saying too. He was like, oh man, X should let you manage him. I'm like, no.
Was that a thing? Was that like I'm not that deep.
Yeah, because we were like talking when he was in jail like the first time around, and he was just like, yo, tweet it. Like, he's like, you're one of the only people I trust, tweet it. Say you're my manager. I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't want to be anybody's manager, and you're crazy. And then he's like, no, tweet it. And then I'm like, realizing in my head, I'm like, all right, he's like a fucking teenage viral genius, and he knows that me tweeting that will be a big thing regardless of if it actually happens. So I tweeted and then shit went crazy, but it was never really a real thing. And to be honest, he's like,
but did you have hopes like, man, maybe this could be like, did you see yourself as like that?
I believe in him so much. Like, even he just put out this little 5-song EP. It's like 9 minutes, and like when I was listening to it, I was just like, oh my god, I forgot how good he is. Like, he just has a voice that's like the craziest thing ever. But like, my whole thing is, I don't think I would ever really want to manage somebody specifically, because how I judge myself is how I can affect the culture. And it's like, I don't think I could affect the culture that much by managing one person,
right?
Because there's like ups and downs, and it's really only like, even if you manage the biggest artist in the world, it's still just one of many. And like, to me, it's like, I love doing the interview thing because I feel like I can just engage with so many different voices, you know, like being like, I did a fucking Master P interview last year, and I did interviews with kids who got like 5,000 followers. I was like 17 worshiping Elliott Wilson when he was fucking running XXL.
Wow.
And like, I've told him that, and he trips out because I can tell he doesn't get told that much. Because like, a lot of times the media, that's like been a weird thing to realize, is that that's my obsession, is that specific, the media company thing, and that it always has been since before I knew enough to realize that that's what I was gravitating towards, you know?
Yeah, that's great. That didn't come across. The only hint I got of that, I had no clue. The only hint I can get of that is that I seen you like interview Combat Jack, and it was like, yo, you showing this dude a level of respect that's like, you clearly have it. I was just like, yo, this nigga clearly, you know, I didn't do my research, but I'm just like, oh, he's like a, you know, like a, I don't know if it's BMX, as you do, like BMX dude in the rap music, started a store, stumbled on this shit, not knowing that maybe you were masterminding some shit like this the whole time, or at least had a heavy interest in this shit.
Yeah, that's like, I started out with the podcast angle, and then I was like, started to realize like, oh no, like the future of what I want to build is like a media company, like, because I really have seen a lot of the biggest media companies fall by the wayside, and they don't really like matter that much like anymore, which is kind of sad, and there's like a lot of reasons for it. But I feel like I just like accidentally, like, because I didn't want to start a rap podcast, I just like started doing, like, I had a BMX podcast for a couple of years, and then I was like, man, like there's underground rappers and people with clothing lines and all this shit who I want to fuck with, and they don't fit into the BMX podcast context. So it's like, I'm just gonna create this podcast so I have a reason to like be able to talk to people. But I didn't like want it to be rappers only or whatever. But then after a while, it just kind of became so obvious that that's what like people were really gravitating towards, you know? That's still not rappers only, but that seed of like me wanting to create content for that reason is like totally like propelled me into this whole world of like, I'm gonna be able to create like the next world star. But whereas like world star is like new J. Cole video, bitch getting beat up in a fucking Popeyes, and then you know, twerk competition or whatever, is that like, I want to change the context up, because I feel like, you know, rap deserves better in a way, you know? No, I hate to talk about world star. I just feel like there could be like a different kind of media company, and that like right now it's actually like prickly territory right now, because it's still, I believe it's still way too rooted in me right now, and that's what I want to build out, is make it so that I'm just like one of a bunch of different faces that are all different, you know, men, women, different colors, everything. Just like, I need to make it more of like a hive rather than so centrally around me, you know? Yeah, that's the weakness of the business, I believe, right now, is like just the fact that it's too centered around me. But I can continue to do stuff as like an influencer or a content creator or whatever, but also create No Jumper as this like thing that could be a lot bigger than me.
Live on its own and grow beyond you.
I mean, that's the dream.
That's it, bro. Well, congrats.
Appreciate that.
Shit was hard.
Can I get a phone number? We can meet up.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
amazing, man.
Alright.
Hey.
I ain't gonna lie. Nobody ever pulled up with me and did that before. That's the first time that anyone did that to me. That's amazing.
I respect it, bro. You definitely got your own lane.
Yeah, man.
Cause ain't nobody doing that in 2018.
No, that's just it's a
lost art.
It's a lost art.
Yeah.
What's
Sure.
that one that Rozelle did or whatever? It was like, if your mother only knew. I remember getting that on Napster and shit. That was like the only beatbox song on Napster. You know?
Shoot me the text, bro.
No doubt. I love you, man. Thank you, bro. It was amazing.
Hell yeah, bro. Nice to meet
Stay
you.
in touch.
John, make up jingle claimers.
How did that just happen? I don't really know. But anyway, J. Cole, one of the biggest hip hop artists in the world, just pulls up to the shop. I'm in the fucking bathroom. I'm smoking. I'm shaving my head. I'm listening to this podcast. All of a sudden, Chris Long texts me, J. Cole is here. I'm like, oh my God. There's a little bit of pretext to this, because my manager had told me that he had a conversation with J. Cole about me. But at the same time, you know, people tell you stuff, and you don't really think it's gonna be a real thing, I'm like, what the fuck? I run out of there. I throw on my fucking new Versace underwear that Rico Reckless told me to get. I'm gonna give a review of that later in the day. I jump in my whip. I rush here, walk in. J. Cole, I'm out of breath. I'm fucking frantic. I'm frazzled. I can't believe that he's actually in my store. What's the first thing I started talking about? I just mentioned that I was just listening to this podcast. It was hella anti-Trump, and then I mentioned that it was by atheist author Sam Harris. Boom, we're in like a 30-minute conversation about religion. What the fuck is going on? It was crazy too though. He's such a cool dude. Like the way he was handling the fans that came up to him and stuff. He was just so like, just good with people, like able to like not make them feel offended, even though he was kind of trying to not talk to him at that moment. And then like, just the fact that he was super interested in No Jumper and stuff too was just like, I don't know. I'm a little like starstruck, a little bit, just amazed that it just happened. But hey, this is my man, Icy Narco. We out here.
Narco, man. Just came out straight out of South Florida, man. First time in LA. You know,
how you feeling?
Feeling good, bro. Feeling good. I'm trying to get tatted, bro. I don't know where to.
Yeah, shit. We got some spots out here on the block. Yo, J. Cole is hella fucking real. He's out here, no security, chilling.
He's just talking to everybody.
Just chilling, just having conversations with everybody. He's like a fucking Dalai Lama, man.
You know why it's so cold in LA? Because I'm here, man. You already know.
Ice.
I'm gonna wrap this shit chrome blue. Right here.
Are yours?
Yes.
You live out here now?
It's my whip. Oh shit. Shit, this shit's slippery. Snowboarding on a bend.
Footprints all over. I wonder how much left I got, man.
Nice.
Adam, what's up, big bro? Any word out the dictionary, I freestyle. Any word. Any word.
Orange.
Orange, gotta get an orange. Maserati got a Ford. I'm gonna make this music because everybody music was born. When I get an orange, I put it in stores because everybody, they said that I couldn't afford it, but fuck it. I turned nothing to something. I got the orange, ate it for the vitamin C. Because G.O.D. gave me an orange tree. I eat the orange and an orange pill, rapping on the corner every day, see we don't need a deal. I met J. Cole and he was for real. He taught me some real inspiration, rapping on the corner every day, see this is my occupation. But I'm discombobulated all in my mental. Chase _ MILL on Instagram for Chicago. Trying to get an opportunity, y'all. Chase _ me. I'm a freestyle right now.
Say it again?
I designed this brand from prison. The logo was my bunk. It was a famous magazine. I can't say it on camera for legal reasons. But I know you like the tongue. Check out super quality, bro.
Appreciate it, thanks so much. He's going crazy. He said we could throw any word at him and do a freestyle. Let's try another one. I'm gonna say graffiti.
Graffiti. I see the graffiti. Everybody looking at me, but you know I go throwing the teepee. Everybody get the energy from graffiti, put it on the wall. I'm gonna get the ballin' on these people like I'm Chrissy Powell.
Those podcasts on the internet, right?
What up? Hey, two things. Number one, rest in peace, Fredo Santana.
Rest in peace, Fredo. Kick the cup.
Oh, you on that now?
Yeah, man, we kicking the cup, man. Goddamn, kick the cup.
Well, that's good news. I don't have a cup to kick besides the coffee cup. But yo, check this out too. I bought these because of you. Pause. Oh, you got them too. Wow! Look.
Hey, this a lifestyle. Goddamn Versace on my drawers. Goddamn, I'm gonna block the bitch when she call. You hear me? Shout out my boy Adam, motherfucking no jumping. Goddamn, 22 in the clip. Don't get your shit split, bitch. Reckless.
I love you, bro. This is one of my all-time favorite things on earth. OJ Juice Man, Nicki Minaj, Waka Flocka. This is some of the most ridiculous shit you'll ever see on the internet.
Down, Barbie, pushing up in Ferrari. I breeze through Africa just to see the safari. I am the baddest crew in America, slicker than a Jericho. Just as Erica, the black summer Jessica. I want more cheese, lots and lots of cheese.
Baby white material, 2% hysteria. Damn, I got the ballers in the morning eating cereal. Young Jew man, them skins of color Cheerio.
I'm about to rob my club. Come on, take his ass down. No.
Let me wear it for the interview.
My first podcast with it, probably.
Bro, that shit is so gas.
Yeah, watch, I'm gonna pull it right now.
You said, watch, was you about to pull out right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out on you.
You got another one?
Real talk. Oh,
I'm about to say, who's doing coke? I'm just fucking Fredo Santana doing coke.
Oh, yeah. We froze it on our favorite part of the video.
You knew I was coming, that's why. Oh my God.
All right, so today we're filming the first episode of the Adam 22 show, working title. That's gonna be the new podcast that I'm doing on my personal channel that is basically gonna take the place of the host chats that we used to do on the No Jumper channel. We did one like a week ago, but anyway, this is gonna be new thing. For my cast, I have Chris Long, aka the cameraman. Right here, we got this fucking goofball looking ass fucking
Like, comment, subscribe, The Ride TV.
Yeah, what happened to you? Something happened.
I got hit by a fucking Tide Pod.
Yeah. Oh, you ate a Tide Pod. Now you look like that.
No, I got jumped by a Tide Pod.
And this is Mind-Fi Wild Out.
I'm Alex. What's up?
AKA Alex.
AKA
from,
Alex.
Twitter is a meme god.
I was just about to
bringing them to life.
Oh my God, you're that dude. I follow you.
Yeah. We just did approximately 2.5 hours of the first ever Adam 22 podcast. I had a good time. Look at that cat. He just put his jacket on and didn't go fuck.
Dude.
No,
Yo,
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised that he didn't care. Normally he cares about things being put on him. Anyway, we did 2.5 hours. We talked about J. Cole. We talked about everything under the sun. It was lit.
It's a good time.
It was a good time.
I have shit to say, but it was a good time.
We were fucking. I'd talk more, not for the whole fucking tale, because I fucking never shut up. I feel like if anything, I over talked during this, but it is my podcast apparently, so I should probably over talk, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
It's your cake.
You're all right.
Smoke a blunt.
Thank you.
Can I also just call this jacket? Check this out. Shout out to my boys over there, Sweets Kendama, and check it out, they gave me 2. I got Chris Long rocking the fucking black edition. Ooh! And they gave me a little tiny white one. This guy's wearing, look at that.
How you doing, bro? My name is R.J. R&B man, boy, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm saying this some R&B shit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody right no jumping right now, bro. There, girl. Thank you, man. All right, for sure, dog.
Trying to man,
Hey, $1 ice for lean.
ice for lean?
Yeah.
But no lean?
$1.
Hey man, you keep at it, one day you're gonna be pulled up. Actually, the ice is the really easy part to get, and the soda, that's really easy too. Is the lean is the harder part. No way!
What's up?
You're back on your bullshit? You're walking around wearing a suit jacket with a bottle of Henny?
This 50 Cent and Ja Rule.
Aren't you supposed to be on tour?
I mean, yeah, we're on tour. It's a 2-day break.
Oh, okay. I thought he got kicked off tour and then we were about to uncover like a crazy plot line. Oh my God.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Okay. Just chilling, drinking some Henny. My favorite Caucasian friends. 2 chains, and I got me a rope on.
Adam, this is Hopsin.
What's up? How you doing, man? Hey, nice to meet you as well, man.
Oh, here we go. We're on camera too. This is Hakeem. He's drinking Henny in a suit jacket.
Yo, the Black John Mayer, man. Black John Mayer.
It's gonna be iconic shit. People probably never ever thought they would see me and him having a conversation. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm having a conversation with someone who, hey, we just finished up an hour and a half. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was just like real ass conversation,
Yeah.
super in depth. I had a great time. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, for sure, man. Thank you.
Hey, we just gotta take a photo.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Want to gift you this kendama from
thank you.
Crom Kendamas. It's
Thank
got
you.
smiley faces all over it, so I figured that was
Hey,
kinda-
man. Hey,
That
yeah.
shit's like $100.
Oh, really?
Well, he got it now.
Yeah, it's just fire.
It's lit.
I can do
That light, gentle tug.
Spike coming soon.
Spike. TBA.
Oh!
Now I'm talking about the Illmind Hopsin Kendama edition. We out here. See, that's how you make an addict right there.
Damn it.
See, we just gave him his first little hit for free.
I'm gonna link with my boys. Fucking celebrate going gold.
For the record, this is. I'm just talking to the camera. This is Diablo. He produced Boss and a bunch of like crazy stuff for X and Pump and everybody. So, well, and now it's gone. Oh, and don't show his number.
About the app, a representative also saying the investigation is still in an early phase.
Phil DeFranco, where you at? I need that interview.
If you don't fuck with me, you're a stupid dumb idiot. If you don't fuck with me, you're a stupid dumb idiot. I'm ballin' like an athlete, but got no jumper. I'm ballin' like an athlete, but got no jumper.